So it's January 13th. Amazing. And we are still in the dark. Do you remember when the Israelites left Egypt after the 10th plague? Do you remember how they were kind of led in a weird, circuitous, nonsensical path? And Pharaoh saw that, and what did he say? Oh, look, they're disoriented, they're confused. Let's go and get them and bring them back. They had forgotten that their firstborn had just died of all the families in Egypt. They had forgotten the 10 plagues already. That was pretty quick. And they had this idea that they could still win, right? And they went out there and they sought to recapture the Israelites. Do you really think that was a good idea? And do you really think that God didn't set them up for the Red Sea? Did they not have a destiny to die at the bottom of the Red Sea? Well, we know from history they did. I also want you to think about this. Why do you think there's so much confusion right now? Because God wants to be God. He wants to be elevated at a higher position in your thoughts than a TV person, a YouTube person, a Facebook contact. We need to individually seek the face of God, just like the fathers and the mothers of those Israelite families. When they left Egypt, they were tired, they were weary, they were confused, they were disoriented. They had just left everything they knew. They are now standing at the banks of a sea, and God is saying, go forward. It doesn't make any sense. So whatever's coming, and something is coming, guys. This is not going to be the Biden presidency 4 years. That's not happening, okay? The reason that's not happening is because they're doing, the bad guys we perceive to be the bad guys are doing things that don't look like leadership. It's chaos. Silencing speech, deplatforming people, rounding up Trump supporter children, re-educating them. These are crazy ideas that will never work. You will never be able to institute that. There isn't enough dark police forces to do this. There's not enough military to support this idea. It's all crazy talk. You cannot lead 330 million people with crazy talk. So what we're seeing right now is absolute confusion on the side of those who are seeking to rule us without our will, against our will. And now there's confusion on the side of the Israelites, the people of God, because you got people, resigning to the fact that there will be a Biden presidency. There's accusation against prophets, which is classic. You think it's easy being a prophet? Do you think it's easy to see things and then declare things? You feel like you're absolutely all alone. That's why nobody should aspire unto the office of a prophet. It should be something that you do because God has given you the grace to do. And I'm telling you, I've lived that way. I've lived the way of being alone. It's a training process. It's a narrow way. It's a slow moving way because God is not in a hurry. So right now, all of us need to pray, look up, cry out, seek his face, cleanse your heart and your mind from all the evil that's in there, reorient your life, and move forward. There is no looking back. There is no, oh my goodness, this is going to be like this or that, or this is what I was fearing. I was fearing that we were going to enter into this time in human history when the Antichrist system was going to come in and we're going to take all these forced vaccinations, mark of the beast. No, I don't believe that. You can believe what you want. That's your head. That's your way of thinking. That's your coping method, I guess. I don't know how that makes you feel better. I don't know how it makes you better, because we're commanded in the scriptures to renew our minds. We're commanded to exercise faith. We're never commanded to give in mentally and spiritually. We're always commanded to have faith, to sing songs of praise, to worship God, and to look for his mighty deliverances. So today, look forward. Think of the Red Sea parting. Whatever it takes for you, fire coming down from heaven, death of Goliath, resurrection of Jesus Christ. Think about all these things. They were impossible. Jesus walking on water. They were all impossible. Manna laying out there on the ground every morning, out of nowhere. Water coming out of a rock. There's so much stuff that's happening, that will be happening, that is going to be out of the ordinary, because we're in extraordinary times. So don't expect an ordinary next step. Don't expect, oh, we're going to have an inauguration. Oh, then we're going to go back to business as usual. And, oh, yeah, the Democrats are going to now have control of all three branches of our government. Oh, yeah, that's what they're going to. That's what your mind is doing, but that's not the future that God has called us to move into. There is awakening coming, a third great revival to America. Theoretically, you could do that with a Democratic president and a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House of Representatives. But that's not the point. We still have satanic rule of liars and deceivers and child traffickers. And how is God going to bless us with open heaven if we still got these evil people in charge? Look at the history of Israel. Do you ever see a great outpouring of renewal when you have a wicked king or a wicked priest? It never happens. So the leader matters. The revival is connected. The Great Awakening is connected to the leader that God chooses to put in place. Why? Because he has to represent truth and righteousness. He has to be heaven's gateway, his doorway, for the Lord to move through that leader into the population. Look at your house. If your father is strong in the Lord, the children are blessed. If the father and the mother are together in holy matrimony, the children are blessed. We have to trust that God has established a leader for the next phase of human history. This cannot stand. It's absolute confusion. It makes no sense. Keep your heart looking up.